Welcome everyone to Things Around 8. Dear friends, in this video we will talk about Donald Trump's indirect role in motivating Ukraine to invade Russia's Kursk region. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any news. This Wednesday, August 14th, the Ukrainian invasion of Russia's Kursk region entered its 9th day, with Ukraine consolidating its control over the city of Sudza and, according to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, over 70 other Russian locations in an area of about 1,000 square kilometers. In response to this Ukrainian advance, 200,000 Russians were evacuated from the region, with an estimated number of about 1,000 Russian soldiers having been captured as part of the Ukrainian advance. As I said in a recent video here on the channel, the main element that helps to explain all this impressive Ukrainian advance is, without a shadow of a doubt, the surprise factor, since no one expected a Ukrainian assault on Kursk. But in addition to the surprise factor, the quality of the Russian forces sent by Putin is also facilitating the Ukrainian advance. These forces are mostly composed of second-line soldiers, with no combat experience, and have been hastily withdrawn from military training centers for new recruits. However, from what we know, Ukraine does not have the operational capacity to maintain those positions in the medium and long term. In other words, it is more or less a matter of time until Russia manages to push those troops back into Ukraine. But by then, the Ukrainians will have achieved what they so badly want, which is to force Russia to weaken some active sectors of the front line, sending stronger and more experienced units to Kursk, withdrawing them from positions in the Ukrainian interior. They will also have destabilized the Russian leadership, exposing Putin to an embarrassing situation, to say the least. With Russia suffering its first invasion since World War II, and becoming the first nuclear power in history to suffer an invasion. But in the midst of these unexpected Ukrainian advances, what does Donald Trump have to do with all this? Directly, it has absolutely nothing to do with Ukraine's advance on Kursk. However, Ukraine knows that Trump has a real chance of winning the presidential election in November. And Ukrainians know that Trump, as President of the United States, could represent a significant reduction in financial and military aid for defense against the Russian invasion. It is important to remember that Trump has never said in writing that he will block the sending of aid to Ukraine, merely saying that he intends to apply stricter rules and sales contracts that are more beneficial to the United States. But Trump and especially his Vice President, Senator Vance, are famous for their harsh criticism of American aid. Vance even led a group of senators with the purpose of trying to completely block military aid for Ukrainian defense. Therefore, even if U.S. military aid to Ukraine is not completely cut off, if Trump wins, it is more or less guaranteed that this aid will decrease, leaving Ukraine in a very complicated situation that, according to several analysts, could force President Zelensky to accept some of Putin's territorial demands, especially the loss of Lugansk, Donetsk, and official confirmation of the loss of control over Crimea. In this scenario, in which Ukraine would be forced to negotiate with Russia, the process will obviously be very difficult for Kiev. Therefore, any Ukrainian advantage on the ground will be positive, and facilitating, at least a little, the negotiation process with Russia. And that is why many analysts believe that one of Ukraine's main motivations for launching the Kursk offensive was the prospect of Trump's return to the White House in 2025. If Ukraine manages to consolidate its control, at least over some Russian regions, or if this advance through Kursk weakens the front line, opening the way for localized offensives in some areas, the Ukrainians will have on their side some cards that they can use in the difficult negotiation process with the Russians. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any news.